ISIS Audio presents an unabridged recording of Shake It Up Baby, written by Ken Mcnab and read by Luke R. Francis. The moral right of the author has been asserted. This performance is owned by ISIS Audio. January 1963. Touchdown. Turbine engines fall silent. The British European Airways plane from Hamburg had taxied to a standstill in its landing slot at London Airport. Outside, everything was alabaster white. The runways were carpeted in thick snow. Icicles hung from the roof of the main terminal, and the midday mercury had dipped well below freezing point. It was the 1st of January 1963, and from Land's End to John O'Groats, Britain was entombed in its worst winter since records began. An extraordinary polar plunge that would last 3 long, depressing months. The passengers began to disembark. They were the familiar mix of formally attired business types, homecoming students, and families heading for celebratory New Year reunions. Few took any notice of the 4 slightly scruffy young men, bleary-eyed and hungover, who made their way down the central aisle. Some gave them a wide berth, those sharp-edged Liverpool accents reason enough to avoid awkward eye contact, as if the uncouth Scouse dialect, with its whiff of distant Irish émigré, somehow carried with it a sense of aggression. Nothing marked them out, except perhaps a cocky camaraderie, a kind of curious Rat Pack aesthetic. Making their way through the arrivals lounge, John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison and Ringo Starr were just 4 nameless faces in the crowd. Yet, in 10 months, almost to the day, they would arrive at the same airport to be met by the cacophony of thousands of overwrought fans repeatedly screaming 4 words. We want the Beatles. We want the Beatles. We want the Beatles. 5 days after those ear-splitting scenes, they would give 2 iconic performances. First at the London Palladium, and, 3 weeks later, before British royalty, where insouciance and irreverent risk would bring its own unparalleled reward. We want the Beatles. We want the Beatles. We want the Beatles. Their concerts had by then transformed into scenes of unbridled hysteria, with entire towns brought to a standstill, and hormonal teenage girls especially working themselves into an emotional frenzy from the...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?